Let's start. Hopefully everyone can see my screen and they can hear me clearly. And without further ado, let's start. Thank you for being here. I am Neda. I'm a host for this webinar. I am just worried I'm going to shut down something. I don't want to do that. I'm going to get rid of that. All right. Today's webinar, it's going to be a very short hours, and I promise I'm not going to be overwhelming with the information, but I do get excited about these things and I want businesses to win. So, oh wow, we source honey from local beekeepers. That's really good. That's really good. We need to look after our bees as well. Okay, let's begin. So how to develop an effective Facebook marketing. This is obviously very, very important. It's my passion and that I like everyone to know, and hopefully this little webinar that we're going to present, it's going to be helpful and gives you an idea. All right, let's begin. Okay, so in today's webinar, we're going to talk about aligning your Facebook strategy with your business overall goals. This is so, so important, which we'll discuss. Then knowing your audience, and if you've been watching a lot of webinars and listening to a lot of people about social media, everyone talks about knowing your audience, which we're going to go quickly over it. Evaluate your current Facebook strategy. This is obviously very important. Understanding the Facebook algorithm. This is something that I believe it's good for us as business owners to know and understand from when we're using this platform. And then we're going to talk about building an engaged community, which specifically I'm going to talk about Facebook groups. So despite what many people say, Facebook marketing is dead, or it's not working, or it's expensive, I'm here to tell you they probably never used that before. They only tried and tested it once and they thought it's not working, or their speciality is not that. But I'm here to tell you, while in recent years we've seen a series of the rise of different social media platforms, for example, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok has been recently in everywhere. None of them have managed to actually beat Facebook. 94% of businesses still use Facebook and are currently active on social media, social giants platform. It's very, very important. Oh, my 94% is crooked. It's very important. They've got such a sophisticated platform. The majority of the earning comes from advertising, and advertising on that platform absolutely works. But today we're going to talk about creating this strategy. So when it comes to marketing Facebook, it's actually started to become a very challenging place. Organic reach is harder to come by. Advertising is more important than ever, and the amount of competition is overwhelming. And the tactic and methods like posting frequently, even though I will 100% recommend to post frequently, but asking users to like or comment or share your content don't seem to work anymore. And it's one of the things that Facebook absolutely do not like us to ask people to share or ask people to comment. They call it phishing when they say drop a heart or drop a yes or click like if you agree. So they 100% do not like it to do that. But neither of this work anymore. That's why we need to have a dedicated strategy. Us as a business owner, we need to have, knowing how important this platform is, we need to have a dedicated strategy if we are going to be successful on this platform. So one of the things, oh my God, I'm sorry that my presentation is everywhere. So your Facebook strategy should be three things. Be very clear, specific to your audience, and flexible. Since Facebook, we're going to talk about it later in the algorithm, since Facebook changes algorithm all the time. As small business owners, we need to be very, very flexible to any of the changes. For me as a marketer, it's always challenging. I always tell myself I am a Facebook expert right now, because in next hour or tomorrow, they might change something in the algorithm and I start to become a learner again. So I've never called myself an expert. I'm always a learner with Facebook. But we need to be very flexible. We need to be clear, specific to our audiences, and very flexible. So when you're thinking about your strategy, you must align your Facebook goals with your broader business goals. There is something that it's actually, I think it's a sales slogan that always be closing. But when it comes to Facebook, I'm going to repeat myself a lot. And if you attend a couple of my workshops or my talk, I always say, always be strategic. Always be strategic. Always make sure when you're on social media, regardless of what it is, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever obviously your audience hang out, always try to align your goal with your business goals, because these platforms need to be part of your overall marketing strategy, and they need to feed in to make sure you achieve your goals. Yes, you achieve your goals. So the most effective strategies are tied directly to your business goal. For example, if you have when I say business goals, so if you have a specific revenue goals to hit on sales for B2C product, you likely want to share content that targeted at driving users or your audiences to your site to buy. This is obviously comes to smaller amount products, not expensive ones. But if you're a B2B business that usually B2B has a longer sales cycle, your focus might be educating and delivering multiple touch points that help engage users. So for them to go through their journey or sales funnels, whatever you call it and whatever you're comfortable to call it, takes them through that journey, go through the different touch point in order for them to ready to take the next purchase. So it all depends, and it always has to directly ties to your business goal. So most common reason businesses use Facebook is brand awareness, customer retention, referral to the website, or other marketing efforts. It doesn't have to be just for the website. If you're running an event, definitely it works. Community building, customer service, and lead generation. So some businesses might use all of them, or use Facebook to create all of these, and some businesses might only use two or three. So what works for one business doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. So you just have to make sure you use all of this. You need to decide based on what you want to create. One of the biggest things that I've seen, especially in startup, is brand awareness. Brand awareness is very, very important, brand awareness and lead generation. But there are some small business owners who actually use everything, all of these in the list for their business. So Facebook, again, strategy goal, align your strategy. It meant to say align. I've got a light. Align your strategy with your audience and your business goals. This is so important. Your audience and your business goals are the most important thing, and Facebook strategy needs to be part of your overall strategy. I love that word. I guess you can tell. All right, next one, know your audience. Often I hear business owners ask the question, like, and you might be the same one, is what content should I be creating? What content should we post on Facebook? Should we focus on video because everyone talks about video? Or should I just do image? They all want to know what content works. So yes, while there is a certain type of content that performs better in a certain platform, there is nothing truer than this. When it comes to creating great content on Facebook, it helps to know who you're talking to. This is so important. We need to spend time to understand the human that we're selling to. The one thing that when I ask people as to who's their audience, the first thing that people say it's either male or female, or is between this age. What I would like you to consider is I want you to get to know the human that is sitting on the other side of your content. It's all great that we know what age they are, but I personally don't even consider the demographic, because Facebook algorithm and Facebook itself, it's really sophisticated, and I might miss out if I put the certain age. I might limit the algorithm to look for something to the age bracket outside the age bracket that we think our audience sit in. So we need to get into their pain point, who they are, what they like, what keeps them up at night. So it's very, very important for us to get to know this human on the other side of our posts. So knowing your audience helps you not only create great content, but the right content too, because right content is very important in understanding what they want. It's so, so important to make sure that it actually helps you, helps your Facebook page to make sure it plays into algorithm. So now I want to talk about evaluating your current Facebook strategy. So we know who it is, we know who we're going to talk to, we understand what they want, but we need to evaluate our current Facebook strategy. So we need to know how often, we need to know if we are posting the correct content. Are they actually right content? So most of you have been using Facebook business page or pages that you have for some time now. Some of you might be just starting out. But I want to ask you something. How often do you actually go to your page insight and review the page performance? Most specifically, how often do you review the content you post on your page? When it comes to knowing what content performs best, that's something that as an advertiser, I always ask my clients when we go in, is what content does perform best and what engages your audience? A great place to start is to assess the content that you're currently posting by conducting a content audit. It's so important. Because the content, conducting a content audit can help you identify areas for improvement. And it's not just, actually, I should add something else. It's not just for improvement, it's actually doing more of that, because then you learn what's actually resonating with your audience. And that's so important to do that. So again, I'm going to talk about strategy. So conducting the audit can help you identify obviously areas of improvement, not only in your content, but in your small business overall strategy as well. You're going to love, I'm probably going to get sick and tired of me keep repeating strategy. Okay, let's take a look at how to get started with your content audit. So there's three things. There's three things that we when we're conducting an audit, we consider three things. We analyze your content from the last 90 days. When I start working with a client, this is what I would like you to consider. Before you're doing any audit, if you haven't been posting continuously and consistently, I would like you to have a plan for the next 90 days before we sit down and audit anything. And this is obviously if you have a brand new Facebook page. Then we identify all the high performing posts, and then we create a list of all the top performing posts because it comes handy. All right, so analyze your content from the last 90 days. So post frequently and begin by looking at all the content you've posted in the last 90 days. This is the first thing we're going to look at. Then we're going to ask ourselves this questions. Are videos performing well? If they are, what is unique about those videos? Are they short 30-second videos, or are they long one? Are they lengthy 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes? The good thing about Facebook is you can have short videos and long videos. You can do anything you want. Remembering that Facebook and YouTube are competition. So Facebook will love you to have the long form videos as well, because they want you to stay on the platform. So let's say you say, but I don't have videos. If you don't have videos, I 100% recommend for you to start creating one and posting some, so to see if they suit your audience. And I know with videos, everybody panics. I say, I don't want to be in videos. You don't have to be in videos. You can actually film your screen, what we're doing at the moment. You can film a screen and do a video. You can be on the other side of your phone and doing the talking. You don't have to be in it, but I would definitely recommend for you, if you're not posting any videos on your Facebook page, start testing it out. Then if you are just posting an image, does it work better? How are they performing? Do high performing images post have anything in common? Maybe they have text over the image, or maybe they don't. You just have to consider all of that when you're creating. I think the next one we're going to talk about, actually, I'll get there. So when it comes to the image, the high number of likes, shares, and comments are the key indicators of performance, and same as everything else. So let's talk, we talked about videos, we talked about pictures. Another one is the copy you write, is the text. You have to align your copy and writing style with your brand and your audience. Do humorous posts resonate with your audience, or do serious posts drive more engagement? You need to figure out the voice of your brand, the story you tell. My brand is very relaxed. I think I'm hilarious. So my brand is, I love humor. So there is always, if you look at my Instagram page, there's always humor. Even my LinkedIn, sometimes I put a humor text in there. But that's my brand. That's who I am. And it's okay. So you need to understand, and obviously it depends on your customers as well. But I deal with a lot of small business owners who just like to have fun, as well as having a business and growing their business. So next one is, so now that we have all of that, we've posted 90 days, we started to identify the high performing one. I want you to create a list, create a spreadsheet, note app somewhere, create a list, and then put in there, in your list, write down what kind of post it is that picture, is it video, the ones that they're performing really well as part of your own KPI. Obviously it needs to have, high performance needs to have likes, share, and comments. So then create that repository or list somewhere, however is convenient for you, and it's easier for you or your team to keep track of it. Create a list, because what it's going to do is it's actually going to help you create the content that, again, your audience resonate. You don't have to overthink it. You know what they want from you, and you can actually use that for your own advantage, for your business's advantage. So you got to remember, don't forget to track and measure your performance. Obviously, we talked about this. Facebook delivers some of the robust statistics that you can use to do a variety of things, including understanding the demographic of your audience, determining the best mix of content, best time to post the content. So it's very important to analyze. I'm going to talk about the best time to post your content. I'm probably one of the people who, I've got a little asterisk in there, because I'm one of those people, I use Facebook advertising, LinkedIn and Instagram advertising more. For what I do is I combine for my clients organic and paid advertising together to get the best option for them. One thing I've noticed that it doesn't work, because I know that less than 5 to 2% of your page followers actually see your post, especially if it's not frequent. So if they only 2 to 5% of them see them, what plan we have is we always boost the post to the page followers and to reach wider audiences. So I'm not that much fussed about best time to post your content. However, as part of a marketing organic strategy, you can absolutely use that. But from my experience, I don't think it makes a big deal. So understand your engagement level. This is very important for us to know. Understand how your audience is growing. And that's meaning understanding how, can everyone hear me? Because it just told me that my internet connection is really low. Can everyone hear me? Okay, I'm just going to quickly make sure. I'm going to stop, make sure you can. Okay, perfect. Just told me that I live in Kalamanda, so in the hills. I wasn't sure. All right, let's begin. I dropped out for a moment. Yeah, I thought that might be because the message came in that my internet is connection is low. Anyway, so understand your engagement level. I think we talked about that, and understand how your audience is growing. The reason I want you to know understand how audience is growing is we want to know if you're getting more page followers or they're dropping out, because that will actually help us to realize, to have a proper strategy together to make sure that we got to look into the content we're posting. What do they like? So we need to dig in, because a growing page means it's a better page. Okay, so next one we're going to talk about is things to consider when creating your Facebook strategy. So number one, I want you to align your strategy with your business objective, as we talked about. If it's a revenue, if it's a following, if it's brand awareness, it has to work with your business goal. Evaluate your audience using the Insight tool under your page on the Facebook Insight. You can go in and see how your content is doing and your audience is doing. Conduct a content audit. This is very, very important. I would like you to do it every quarter if you can, or at least every 6 months, to do the audit to make sure that you're not, because when you're creating posts, you're actually investing time and resources into it. So when we actually, when we're conducting an audit, we want to make sure that we're tracking our performance, and we want to create and use our time to create the content that our audience resonate with. So these are the one I want you to consider. Next one, my favorite, understanding the Facebook algorithm. This is something everybody gives people a headache. So algorithm often be the cause of many headaches for not just small business owners yourselves, for marketers, for me, for brands. So just when you thought, like I said, just when you thought you're an expert and you have strategy locked in, algorithm changes and you're left scratching your head wondering, what should I do next? And Facebook is no exception. The social giant loves to change things up, and you need to be ready to shift your strategy when that happens. The reason, the good thing is, I have to tell you, working with the larger organization when it comes to Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, when we are smaller businesses, we are more agile, we can change, or we're more flexible. And it's good to give you give your business a flexibility. And that's why we talk about here, to have a specific strategy for Facebook. So understand how Facebook, we're going to talk about, and we're going to understand how Facebook prioritizes, scores, and displays content to its users. This is so important for you to understand if someone doesn't see your post, the reason why. Okay, so when it comes to algorithm or AI behind Facebook ranks content by 4 things: inventory, signals, prediction, and score. So inventory, as the term suggests, refers to all the content Facebook is looking at to help it decide what to show your audience, whether it's posts from their friends, family, group they join, or the page they like and follow. And I have to tell you, there is 1,500 posts every day it gets sorted for one user, for one user. Remembering there are so many content get posted on Facebook. So for one user, for me alone, there's 1,500 posts that it gets checked as per and ranked as per what the algorithm does. So the first one is inventory. So it goes through everything it has that in their repository or where it gets posted. Then comes to signals. Signals are like comments, likes, share that Facebook uses to choose which content gets shown. Facebook weighs some of these more than others. I think we talked about this in my training this morning. For example, likes, share, comments, and overall engagement are weighed more heavily than things like what type of phone the user is using. how fast their internet is. So they weigh in highly on specifically engagement, as in making a comment, share. They weigh differently. So they see these as signals. So if I press a like button or press a laugh button, anything I press on the emojis, that actually that's a signal to Facebook as to what I like, or what is it that I'm interested in. So then comes next, the signals get used to make prediction. So Facebook looks at users' my previous behavior to show content that I'm most likely to interact with. We're all exactly the same, and Facebook does exactly the same. If you use Facebook a lot, I use Facebook a lot, I know how it works, because if a user consistently post about golf, I love golf, and I engage with a lot of golf content, guess what I'm going to get? I am going to get some information about golf, because what they're predicting is I might be interested in golf. I actually just bought a mini car, and I'm so excited. So guess what's going to happen in my platform, because I'm going to do some changes to it. I'm going to see that, and I'm going to see even advertising, because they're predicting that this is what I like to see. So then after that prediction comes, so then a score is a number given to a post that indicates how relevant that post is to a user, to me. So each post will have a different score unique to each user. Like, for example, mine will be very different from yours and very different to everyone else. So then algorithm serves up those posts in users' news feed according to that score. And you might have guessed it. So the higher the score, the more likely the content will be shown in the newsfeed. You probably, if you're using Facebook, I don't know if you noticed, you're wondering, why am I I'm seeing the post of this particular person on this particular page, but I'm not seeing something else. It's because they're actually predicting based on the signals, based on what we do with the post, they're predicting what is it that we like. Based on that, they score the post, and based on that, we get newsfeed filled up with 1,500 on average, 1,500. But we don't spend time going through it anyway, because we have businesses to run. So this is how algorithm works, and it's very important for us to understand it. Next one, I'm going to talk about group, building an engaged community. So historically, businesses have depended heavily on their Facebook business page to grow their audience and community. 5 years ago, if you would ask me, what should I do? I would have said, just put a link in there to your blog, to this, to that. But with the consistent decline in our organic reach, that's becoming more and more difficult. And so you need to consider some alternative to be able to be in front of the community in Facebook. So Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg said, we want to help 1 billion people join meaningful communities. If we can do this, it will not only reverse the whole decline in community membership we've seen around the world, but it will also strengthen our social fabric and bring the world closer together. Guess what they will be using to bring the people together? They're going to be using Facebook group. And that's what I would suggest for you to consider. More than 400 million people belong to at least one Facebook group. And more than 100 million people see groups as the most important part of their Facebook experience. It comes at no surprise, and that Facebook has made groups and communities a central focus. They actually created the whole section for their Facebook group, and it sits right next to the marketplace. So it's very, very important for them. Facebook groups are an easy way to reach and interact with your audience. It's with a larger audience and with your own prospects. So think about how valuable this is when your customers can get through your support team and refer to figure things out themselves. You can actually create a space for them filled with people who they can help each other navigate. This is really good for the This is really good for the B2B as well, or B2C. Something that I would recommend if in a beauty industry, if you have, if you have, for example, a cream that can, I just lost my train of thoughts. You can actually help people with other stuff. For example, drinking water. It's not just putting a cream on your face, drinking water, healthy eating. You can actually, if that is the business, you can actually create a group that complements your face creams and everything else, but you create something as a group that people get together and help each other out, and you have your audience and your prospect right in front of you. So getting started with Facebook group, how do you put, now that you might be asking, so how groups can fit into my strategy? Keep in mind, one thing I have to say, and I repeat that all the time, keep in mind that creating a group is not just creating a group and leaving it. It requires, it doesn't suit every business model, and also you need to remember it requires resources and it requires time. Building a community like any other community, it requires time and resources, and you need to consider that. It might not be your business and it might be for your business. So if it's something that you're thinking of and you think, actually, this is good for my business, I can use it as lead generation or building my brand, you've got to remember you have to have the resources, time or teammate or money to get someone else to manage that for you. So when we're creating a group and you think, what group should I do? Should I create? Go with the group goals. What your group is trying to achieve. For example, is it product specific? That's what I was going to talk about. Is it industry specific? For example, I am part of a group who are part of the marketers. So there's a whole group of marketers that come together who specializes on lead generation for small businesses. And I am part of that group. And that group is actually facilitated by a social media examiner from which is another social media marketing business, educational business. Or is it customer user group? It could be if they're using your products. Usually with B2B, if you're selling a software, if you have something, is that a customer user group? Is that a networking group? You could be a coach, or you could be someone that networking group can complement your business. Think about what kind of community will be most helpful for your audience. It doesn't have to be specific to your business. One thing I always say is see what complements your business, where your business customers have to be, what they have to go through, what they have to buy, what they need to know before they come and actually purchase your products or services. So again, have a goal and make sure it aligns with your strategy to use the group for your business. So how do you increase engagement in the group? This is something I always keep telling people, welcome new members to the group. One thing that I love doing is I grab my phone every week and I actually welcome the people. I go live and I welcome people and I call out their names. People love, isn't that their name is the best thing, what are the sweetest thing they hear? So I love doing that. You don't have to, but welcome new members. Create post polls, surveys, quizzes that works really well. Ask question, this or that. Utilize Facebook Lives, something that people get so scared. As I always say, Facebook Lives, people are more generous when it comes to Facebook Lives because they know this is all live and you can stuff up. So utilize Facebook Live. Don't be afraid. Always go for it. And engage directly with themselves. I know as business owners, I want you to spend time working on your business, but it actually helps to go in once a week or even twice a week to answer questions, engage directly with the members, thank them. The most important thing is thanking them for being there, for engaging, for helping another team member. So it's very, very important. And this is something that I would like you to consider if it works in your industry. I think that's it. That's all about it. Stay connected with me. This is my account, LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. I would love to connect with you. And if there is, usually if you have any questions, just send me a message, DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn, wherever you're comfortable. If I'm not sleeping, I usually tend to answer. So let's get to Q&A. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to go and see, oops. Okay. All right, how are we going there? All right, any question, anyone? Any questions? Hope it wasn't too much. I try not to do information overload.
I've got a question. It's Laurel. So if, because I've been thinking of setting up like a wellness Facebook group or community. So what's the best way to sort of introduce that more broadly, like beyond your followers, you know? Like I've got a business page and people follow that, and yes, I can also post it. I've got a personal page, so I can post it on that. But to date, I have found, you know, friends and family are minimally supportive. You know what I mean? It's like I have to actually get my husband's phone and like my own posts and comment and share them, because he was like, oh, you know, I'm not interested in that. I'm like, this is my business. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, yeah, you know, I hate bloody Facebook and Instagram. I'm not gonna like it. So yeah. And you know, my kids will like my post, but they never put a comment or anything. So I've realized I can't really rely on friends and family. So it's how do you broaden your reach, I suppose, if you start a Facebook group.
Sure. What I would say, so first of all, the goal of your Facebook page, Facebook group, we need to determine. So for you will be networking, like a wellness, not networking, support group.
Well, I suppose it's support, but I guess it's kind of networking for women to come in. I mean, I would post what I hope would be useful information, but I already post useful information on my Facebook page, you know what I mean? Like educational stuff about, or useful stuff about wellness. So, and then I'd have to sort of decide, well, what am I going to put on my main page, or what am I going to share in a private group, you know, and hopefully gives the group more than what they'd get. But yeah, I suppose it would be kind of networking, but basically it's trying to attract people to purchase wellness services from me, really. But, to be helpful and share information, and for them to share with each other, and also feel that, you know, if they've got some wellness challenge, there's other women out there in the same boat sort of thing, and they can share stories and things like that.
So one thing I can say is I'm going to talk about my what I do. I do have a specific group, which is a closed group for my clients. So if I have a client, there's a specific group that they have access to me 24/7, honestly, sometimes. They have a question and I always do that. But then I have another group that is just so what I do is I help small businesses, and that group is actually archived at the moment. However, I want you to have a goal as to when you're helping people, women, you need to have a very specific goal for that group. Let's say that if you are helping the moms who just given birth and they want to go back to their to the previous bodies or something that you can help, you create a group specifically for those groups, for that community, that they have a shared interest, they do have a shared concern, and it's a very safe environment because they come in and they know another woman there knows the frustration sometimes if they want to go back to their healthy themselves, or if you so it needs to be very specific when you're creating a group. You cannot go to everybody. Like for example, my other group that I had is archived because I just have to put more resources into it. One of the is just service-based small businesses. So it's very specific. That's a service-based small businesses. And guess who's going to come? Only service-based. And it was on the rules, it was on the about page that this is only for service-based small businesses who need help with Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn marketing. That was very specific, and will attract those people. This is just another way of bringing people in. But I've never sold in that page, in that group. I've always talked about what I can do. My Facebook, when you're talking about your business page, it's mainly your information page. So when people land on your business page, if they ask you, you introduce yourself to them, they ask you what you do, what's your business, you give your Facebook page. What they do is when they land on their Facebook page, then they want to know what you do, what your services are, read a couple of reviews and see who you're about. My Facebook pages post are very specific to do with business. There is some mix, obviously, because I am part of that brand. So there's mix. But when it comes to the group, what we talk about is very specific, teaching them when they get stuck, what they have to do. We go through some of the strategies together in that group. So be exactly the same with your wellness group. If you specifically call out people as to who is this for, then all you talk about is their challenges. If they need inspirational quote, that you do that, which you don't do it on, might not do it on your Facebook page. It's like look at the group is like when you're catching up with your best friends.
Well, I mean, as I said, my demographic is midlife women, so it'd be the challenges which is quite often menopause, but I don't want to make it just menopause.
Yes,
but that's part of it. There's a lot that it's part of it. But there's enough menopause groups around as well, and
what would you do differently? So it's not about. I don't want you to think about, oh, it's already done before.
Yeah, but I guess because
your experience.
Yeah, so I think I'm broader than just menopause, because midlife women have other challenges apart from menopause. I mean, quite often they're sort of still, some are depending on their age. They might still have teenage kids or kids at home. They might also have aging parents, in that age group. So there's those things. There's a stress of, quite often they're still working full time. And as I said, trying to, look after aging parents or look after kids. And then plus, as we get older, we start getting, joint pain, muscle pain. Yeah. We start losing, muscle bulk, that sort of thing. I'm definitely not weight loss focused. It's bigger than that. It's I tend to take a body neutrality approach, which is, body acceptance, and kind of a bit more of a non-diet approach, as in, mindful eating and moderation rather than diets and that sort of thing. So that's the sort of things that I would be, answering whatever questions they've got about whatever challenges. But yeah, I didn't want it to be just menopause, because I think there's a lot more challenges going on.
Yeah, but that's it. But that's what we talk about in the group. We just have to create the group and say, so you just have to create a group for women, be specific.
I suppose it was just more, how do you reach other people apart from, because I don't have a lot of followers that are probably not people that don't know me. Do you know what I mean? I do on Instagram, and I could invite people on Instagram to go to if I had a Facebook group, I could announce it on my Instagram page. But my Facebook business page is mostly people I know. So how do you get beyond them to people you don't know?
It's probably advertising. So it has to be, advertising has to be included as part of your organic.
Yeah.
But you need to get your organic. One of the things that your organic needs to be up and running in order, when I do advertising, they work really well together when we combine an organic strategy with paid strategy.
Yeah.
If I go all the way to the paid strategy, it means that I've never do that, because it doesn't work. This is a social selling and social platform. If I just go talk about selling, it actually doesn't work. Direct selling never works.
Yeah.
So one thing I have to tell you is it used to be really good if you had so many page likes and followers, and people unfortunately still getting it by followers and by page like. It actually works against you. Don't look at the numbers. If you have people who are your ideal clients that you can help, that's what it matters. Even if you have 100, 200, 50,
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. It requires work, Laurel. It requires lots of times, lots of works. You can start challenges. One thing that I worked really well with Facebook group and building your Facebook group is to start a challenge, 1 week challenge. We're going into summer, 1 week challenge, and create a specific group for that challenge. You can always change a name, but that is the best place to bring people in.
I did one, I did a mindful eating challenge in maybe July, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't huge. I think I had 17 people, but, you know, they were interacted, and, yeah, I've got a few reviews, all of the Google reviews.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what happened to that group? Where is it?
It's still there, but it was... yeah, when they finished the challenge, and I've kind of put in a couple of little things about how you're going and stuff, but I think they're sort of perhaps a bit sick of it by now. I don't know. Because it was just a specific, you know, they've learnt all the skills now, I suppose, and yeah.
How many of them actually doing it though? How many times that we learned the skills and we actually went through with it?
But I didn't like to be nagging, you know what I mean? Like
but if you're providing valuable content, if you're actually helping them, why do you think you're nagging? You're not nagging.
Oh no, that's not the thing is, I've given them all the information that they needed. I can't, there's no more, apart from just checking in with them. I can't give them any more information because I already gave them heaps. It was like everything there is to know.
Okay, so I don't think you should stop. I think you should continue. Where the next stuff comes is when they ask you a question. All of this question they were asking you, there's your content. Because not all of them will see it. So when someone asks you a question through that week you were going through, all of those questions people are asking, you should have written it down and have another video and have another video and have another video, because that's how it actually works. And you keep talking about it. Ask them, would you mind letting others know? Bring people in. Don't be afraid to tell people, please share this. I want to help more people. Let Instagram, unless you advertise, you need to do a lot of work. When it comes to advertising, I always say there's always either time or money. If you do not have the budget to spend on money, then it means your time. You have to put times into it. And life happens. Life happens, we get distracted and we'll forget all about it. But if you continuously be at it, it works. It's not impossible. It is a hard work, but it's not impossible. And it doesn't happen by one.
But I need to run the challenge again and invite more people.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to run it every month, if you can. Okay. You don't have to, there is no limit because it's only 7 days. Run it every month. If you have the support, you have someone who can help you, run it every month. And as you do it more and more, you learn more, things will change and things evolve. Doing it one time, it's not going to help. Even when we do courses, I don't do courses, but I advertise for course creators and coaches. We never, ever, I've usually take a year for us to, when I talk to people, they have to give me a year in order for me to make them a 6-figure or 7 figures. Yeah. Because we keep advertising it, we wait for 3 months and then advertise it again and advertise it again and advertising it again. And it starts building a momentum. And it's exactly the same. One thing about family and friend though, I learned, maybe we should just leave them. Yeah. We should just say, okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of accepting that.
It's frustrating when you know you can help them. But no, I know it's amazing. Yeah, don't worry about your husband.
And I know it's just not me.
Yeah.
I know other people that go through the same thing.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing how we think And we shouldn't rely on them. Probably no hope, but there's plenty of people out there who need you. Absolutely, there is one of you, and I would 100% recommend start doing it. If you can do it once a month, you get better at it. Things get easier, but definitely do it. If just commit to it that you can do it by Christmas time.
Yeah.
Get them ready by Christmas. Every month, get them ready by Christmas. So then they can eat. And then we'll start again. Then you start it in January, right after the holidays.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
That's all right, not a problem. Oh, Liz left a message. Would you be doing a session on LinkedIn strategy? Yes, I will be next week. And I think Liz just left us. Selena, are you okay? Do you have any questions? No? All right, I think I've done really well. Oh my God, I'm not really good with timing. I do talk. And I've got 4 minutes. I just ran a workshop this morning and I had 15 minutes left, which was really good for me. Anyway, pleasure knowing you, pleasure meeting you. And please connect if there's any questions. Do not hesitate. Have you enrolled in the 7-hour, have you heard about the 7-hour mentorship?
Yeah, I'm with someone here in Perth.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's fantastic. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
You too. Thanks so much.
No worries. Thank you. Bye.